the organic compounds that build up living body or living matter. They are known as biological molecules. These biological molecules are organic compounds. You have to remember these things. And there are 4 types of biological molecules: carbohydrates, protein, lipids, and nucleic acids. These are the biological molecules present in living organisms. And when we are talking about the carbohydrates, carbohydrate is the most abundant organic compound on earth. These carbohydrates are produced during photosynthesis of green plants. You can remember potato, sweet potato, grains, sugar, flour, like food materials contain mainly carbohydrates. And the main elemental composition of carbohydrates is carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. We can say simply carbon, hydrogen, oxygen as CHO. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, CHO. Remember that the hydrogen and oxygen combine into 1 ratio in carbohydrates. So we can generate a common molecular formula for carbohydrate as CxH2OY. This is the common molecular formula for carbohydrates. And the other thing is, we are going to discuss about the carbohydrates. The carbohydrates can be classified into 3 groups. If you can remember, monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides. These are the main groups of carbohydrates. If we discuss about the monosaccharides, monosaccharides are the structural units of carbohydrates. Then you can understand that the building units of carbohydrates are the monosaccharides. So these monosaccharides are most common because they are very sweet. If you can remember, glucose is produced in green plants during photosynthesis. There are 3 types of carbohydrates: monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides. Among them, monosaccharides is the structural unit of carbohydrates. So these monosaccharides are commonly known as simple sugars, and these monosaccharides are 3 types. You can remember these things. They are glucose, fructose, and galactose. I think you are familiar with glucose because this glucose is produced during photosynthesis in green plants, and this glucose is used to produce energy in cells because energy is released during breakdown of glucose in cellular respiration. We can discuss about the cellular respiration in later chapters. And the other thing is, we are eating starch food. After the digestion of this starch food in our body, glucose is produced, and then this glucose is absorbed into the bloodstream. And the other thing is fructose. This fructose is known as the fruit sugar because most of the fruits contain this fructose monosaccharide. Remember that fructose is the sweetest sugar among the sugars or among the monosaccharides. And the other monosaccharide type is galactose. This galactose is produced during the hydrolysis of lactose, and this galactose has no any sweet taste. That is the key points regarding monosaccharides. And the other thing is about the disaccharides. Disaccharides, you can understand the name. Di means 2. Saccharides. Disaccharides means there are 2 monosaccharides to form a disaccharide. And during the formation of a disaccharide, a water molecule is released. And the other thing, if you hydrolyze these disaccharides, then relevant monosaccharides are produced. And during the production of a disaccharide molecule, a water molecule is released. And the other way, when these disaccharides are hydrolyzed, it absorbed a water molecule and produce relevant monosaccharides. And the other thing is examples for the disaccharides. They are maltose, sucrose and lactose. These are the disaccharides types. You can see maltose. I will explain briefly about the formation of these disaccharides. Maltose are produced by the combination of two glucose molecules. Then glucose join with glucose and produce maltose. During this process, a water molecule is released, and the sucrose is produced combining glucose and fructose. During this process as well, a water molecule is released. And the other thing is lactose. Lactose is produced combining glucose with galactose. And there are some special features of lactose you need to know. I will explain one by one. Lactose is the only sugar that is absent in plants, and this lactose is not sweet as sucrose. These are the key points of disaccharides. And we can move to the polysaccharides. Poly means more. Then that means polysaccharides contain more monosaccharide molecules. Polymerization of a large number of monosaccharides form a polysaccharide molecule. Then the other way, that means hydrolysis of polysaccharides results relevant monosaccharides. If you can remember, in both direction, I mean production and hydrolysis, that is the path of formation and breaking down of polysaccharide. And there are some examples you need to know about the polysaccharides. They are cellulose, starch and glycogen. These are the examples. And there are some special points that you need to remember about these polysaccharide molecules. Let's see about them one by one. Cellulose. Cellulose present in cell wall of plant cells. Basically, they are present in cell wall of plant cells. And we cannot digest this cellulose in our digestive system. So, cellulose has no nutritional value for us. But this cellulose can avoid constipation. So, we need to have cellulose in our diet, not for the nutritional compound, but it helps to avoid constipation. And the other thing is the starch. Starch is the type of carbohydrate that stores food in plant. The type of carbohydrate that stores in plant is starch. And if you can remember, during the daytime, green plants produce glucose during photosynthesis process. And this starch is produced from that glucose. That is the simple process. And the next polysaccharide is glycogen. And this glycogen is mainly present in animal liver and muscles. And glycogen is the type of carbohydrate that stores in animal body. This point has used to produce questions in your exam. And you need to know about the significance of carbohydrate. You can remember, I told you that these carbohydrates, glucose, like monosaccharides, disaccharides, polysaccharides, all are used to produce energy in our body. So carbohydrates are used as an energy source. Carbohydrates are used as storage compounds, energy storage compounds. And the other thing is, they are used as a structural component in organism and as a constituent of nucleic acids. These are the key points regarding carbohydrates. You can make a short note by using this tute. You can refer these diagrams carefully and note down the special point.